Hello there. Today's Saturday. I don't normally work on a Saturday, but today I did. I had a bunch of stuff to do, so today I was working. I also worked on the after incorporation steps. I got through step 2, 3, and 10, which is not exactly how I intended on doing things, but step 2 was to register the corporation with the CRA. So in the incorporation process, I guess, my company was registered with the CRA, so I got a business number, I got my fancy letter from them, and so I had a business number, which means I had a corporate tax account with them, but I needed to register a sales tax account, a payroll account, and an information return account, which is like if you pay out dividends and you have to issue a T5, then that's your information return account. So I got all those registered, which was actually harder than I thought it was going to be because I couldn't just log into the business for whatever reason. It said I wasn't technically an owner, even though I am on the like owner letter paper thing. So luckily I'm a rep with the CRA because I'm an accountant, that's what I do. So I made myself an authorized representative with my rep ID and then was able to go in and get all that stuff registered. So I still have to call the CRA to ensure that I am on, like my social insurance number is attached to the corporation so that I can make more change, because there's certain things that a rep can't do. So I have to make sure that I'm like the owner of the company. I don't know why I put that in quotes. I really am the owner. So step 3 was to register a new accounting firm. So turns out I don't actually have to register a new firm. I thought I did. I just had to issue or request a change to the structure of the existing firm. So I went from sole proprietor to a corporation, a professional corporation, and I also had to request a name change. So I went from Caitlin Kirk Chartered Professional Accountant to Kirk CPA Professional Corporation. Those have not come through yet, but I have nothing left to do, so I checked it off. Yay. Hopefully that comes through, because otherwise I've got a check mark here that I don't deserve. And then number 10, so I have a few obviously other steps between 3 and 10, but step 10 was to figure out my QuickBooks file. And my hope was that okay, let me back up. I have an accountant's version of QuickBooks, as you would expect. And what that means is that I'm able to, I have like my books, but there's sort of 2 sections. There's like the accounting firm like management piece, and then below it is my books. And at the top there's a bar which allows me to, it's like a drop-down menu, and then all my clients are there. So everybody's QuickBooks file that I have access to is in that list. And there's like if I'm in a client file, I can say go back to practice, and that means my set of books. So currently the sole proprietorship is in that set of books, and I was hoping that I could get QuickBooks to somehow switch out that file. I was thinking like, this cannot be the first time that this has happened. Guaranteed this is not the first time that this has happened. So what is there, how do they do that? Because generally you can't like change files. I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but I was not sure that they were going to be able to switch out that file, because the file kind of is what it is. And so I chatted with QuickBooks. I like live chatted with them, and the woman suggested that I create a client file that was my QuickBooks file, like my corporation's QuickBooks file. But that means that, one, I have to pay for a new QuickBooks file, which is not a ton of money, but it's an additional cost because my accounting file, or my accountant's version, is free. And 2, that if I say go back to practice, it's just going to be my archived sole prop books, which is not what I want. I want to be able to say go back to practice and have my like working books that I'm working in. So that was something I wanted. She was like, well, you could just wipe the account. Like, well, no, because I still want the sole prop book. Like, I still need those, even though I'm not actively going to be using them. And then her third suggestion was I could just create a new accountant's copy, or a new, accountant's file. But then I'd have to get all of my clients to re-invite me to their QuickBooks file, which I just didn't want to, that's going to be a huge hassle. And there's a significant number of them, because it's not just my monthly clients, it's like every single person that I have ever helped in their QuickBooks file is there. So none of those are good options to me. So what I ended up doing was a workaround that I created for another client who had made the switch from sole prop to corporation, but they didn't realize they needed a new set of books, they needed a new QuickBooks file. And so they had just continued. And by the time that I got this set of books, it was quite a while into the year. And so we either had to create a new file and re-enter all this information, or yeah, that was basically it. Create a new file, enter all this information. And then also we'd had all this information in the sole prop books that didn't belong. So what I did was I just reversed the trial balance as of the date, the cutoff date, the separation date, dividing date, that's the word I wanted. So I zeroed all those accounts, and then on the next day, it's basically you're starting again, and you're able to still see the prior books because they're all still there. And you just know that as of that date, it's going to be zeroed out. So that's kind of a weird date. It's normally best to do that at the end of the month. But I did it in the middle of the month because, why not make things interesting? I should have done it at the end of the month. It was tougher than I thought it would be to do on my file. But I got through it. It took a couple hours, but I did it. What questions do you have for me around that, about changing your QuickBooks file from a sole prop to a corporation? Unless you really know what you're doing, I really don't recommend trying to do that. Have an accountant do it if you must, but the best practice is to just have a new QuickBooks file. I wrote a whole blog post on 11 steps to take after you incorporate your business and the order to take them in. And I left the link for that in the description. So if you're interested in what those 11 steps are, I just explained 2, 3, and 10. But if you're interested in the other ones, I go into a fair amount of detail, but it's still not a long read. So yeah, left the description, link in the description. Leave your comments for me, what questions you have for me about registering your business number with the CRA and your new QuickBooks file. Leave them for me in the comments and I'll answer them for you. I hope you're doing well. I'll see you tomorrow.